नमस्कार सम्पूर्ण मेरा दर्शक साथीहरू जो अहिले तपाईँ फेसबुक, युट्युब र इन्स्टाग्राम हेरेर बसिराख्नु भएको छ। तपाईँहरूलाई आज म फेरि एउटा धेरै आवश्यक र महत्त्वपूर्ण शीर्षक लिएर केही विषय छलफल गर्न आइरहेको छु। सधैँ चाहिँ म तपाईँहरूलाई फेरि आज पनि समर विशेष बर्खाका लागि हाम्रा नानीहरूलाई उपयोग हुने कार्यक्रम तपाईँ समक्ष म लिएर आएको छु। यो कार्यक्रम अहिले बर्खा छुट्टी जब हुन्छ त्यो समयमा अति आवश्यक। धेरैजना बुवा-आमाले मलाई सोधिराख्नु भएको हुन्छ, यसपालिको बर्खालाई के गर्ने, नानीहरूलाई कहाँ लाने र कस्ता-कस्ता कार्यक्रमहरू छन् सेन्ट्रल ओहायो रिजनमा, अरूतिरको पनि होला तर विशेष गरेर ओहायोको रिजनमा भनेर सोधिरहनु भएको छ। अथवा तपाईँले यो बर्खामा नानीहरूलाई के पढाउने अथवा कुन प्रोग्राममा लाउने भनेर सोच्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने यो आजको कार्यक्रम तपाईँहरूलाई बहुत लाभदायक हुन जान्छ। र त्यसो भन्दै गर्दा यो बर्खे कार्यक्रम यो आउने बर्खामा के गर्ने भन्ने तपाईँको कौतूहलता सँगसँगै तपाईँहरूलाई एउटा सहयोग पनि म माग्छु। तपाईँहरूले यो कार्यक्रम हेरेर सहयोग आफूले लिनुहोला, यसको भरपुर सहयोग आफूले फाइदा उठाउनुहोला। तर मलाई तपाईँले गर्ने सहयोग भनेको चाहिँ तपाईँ फेसबुकमा हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने कृपया फलो गर्नुहोला र तपाईँलाई युट्युबमा गएर हेर्नुहुन र तपाईँको आफ्नो कमेन्ट, क्वेसन लेखिदिनु हुन सबैलाई म अनुरोध गर्दछु। र यति भन्दै म आजका पाहुनालाई म यहाँ निम्त्याउँछु। मलाई आशा छ सबैजनाले सेयर गरिदिनुहुन्छ होला। हवस् त म मेरो पाहुनालाई अगाडि बढाउन चाहेँ। Namaste, Meg.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So how we're going to do is I'll be asking some of the questions to talk or discuss about the summer opportunities here in Central Ohio. And obviously we'll be answering those questions in English. And simultaneously, I'll be interpreting your response into Nepali for the audience to understand. And but you don't have to make your answer short because I'll not be doing word by word interpretation. I'll just summarize it. Then that way we'll go and discuss more topics, whatever comes in between. Let me tell the same thing in Nepali as well. So म आजका पाहुनालाई अङ्ग्रेजीमा क्वेसन सोध्छु, उहाँले अङ्ग्रेजीमै उत्तर दिनुहुन्छ र जतिवटा उत्तर उहाँले दिनुहुन्छ त्यो उत्तरलाई फेरि म नेपालीमा समराइज सर्टकटमा नेपालीमा भन्छु र फेरि उहाँको अरू क्वेसन हुन्छ। तपाईँ कसैलाई पनि क्वेसन छ भने कृपया तपाईँ क्वेसन राखिदिनु होला। र म आजको पाहुना लेट मी इन्ट्रोड्युस हर। मसँग आजको पाहुना हुनुहुन्छ डिरेक्टर अफ चिल्ड्रन सर्भिस चिल्ड्रन एजुकेसन थर्बर हाउसमा। थर्बर हाउस भनेको सेन्ट्रल ओहायोमा छ, जसको बारेमा हामी छलफल गर्छौँ, जहाँ चाहिँ मसिना नानीहरूले गएर त्यहाँ विशेष किसिमको लेख्ने तालिम र पढ्ने तालिम र विभिन्न ठाउँबाट लेखकहरू त्यहाँ आएर विशेष कार्यक्रम उहाँहरू सालभरि नै गरिराख्नुहुन्छ। तर विशेष गरेर यो बर्खे छुट्टीको बेलामा चाहिँ उहाँको बहुत धेरै कार्यक्रम हुन्छ र त्यो कार्यक्रममा हाम्रा नानीहरूलाई पनि कसरी संलग्न बनाउने भन्ने कुराका लागि हामी आज कुराकानी गर्दैछौँ। र यो थर्बर हाउसमा उहाँले काम गरेको कमसेकम पनि 20 वर्ष भइसकेको छ। उहाँले मसँग कुराकानी गर्दा मैले सोधिरहेको थिएँ। र यति भन्दै म आज उहाँलाई पहिलो क्वेसन सोध्छु र तपाईँ सबैजनाले आफ्नो कमेन्ट गरेर क्वेसन गरिदिनु होला। Thank you, Meg. Thank you for your patience. I've been talking so long in Nepali, right? So I just explained that how is the process, whatever I told in English, and I also introduced you in Nepali as well. So now, as we start, especially last 2 years, members from Bhutanese community, and in fact, I knew about your program through Facebook. I was playing around on Facebook. I saw Thurber House. That's how I knew about it. I think that 3-4 years ago. And Aditi was super interested when I told her this could be an opportunity. She did explore herself and she did all the things and she wanted to go. So, and I found that Thurber House is a very good program for kids like Aditi and many other kids in our community. Community means like in Central Ohio region. Can you tell me about what is Thurber House and what you do and how can our kids be involved? So these are some of the questions, but the first question is, what is Thurber House?
Yeah. So Thurber House is actually the house itself is actually a museum. So James Thurber was an author and a cartoonist who lived and grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and became famous. And in the 1980s, they were able to restore his house and open it as a museum. So you can tour it as a museum. It has really cool stuff of that time period. He lived there 1913 to 1917. So there's stuff of that time period, and it's pretty neat. It's also haunted. There's ghost stories that sometimes the kids like. So there's that kind of aspect in his history. And then Thurber House, the organization, we do creative writing programs for students of all ages. We typically start at second grade and we go all the way up through adults. We do programs in schools, we do programs on site. We have a building next door to Thurber House that is classroom space, and we go into community centers. Um, I think I already said libraries, but we go out into the community a lot and then have our own programs. We also have author readings. So we have like poets and novelists and journalists and all those. We have author readings for them as well.
Okay, think I'll come back to those author thing. So मैले उहाँलाई थर्बर हाउस भनेको के हो भनेर थिएँ। थर्बर हाउस भनेको चाहिँ खासमा म्युजियम हो, एउटा सङ्ग्रहालय हो, जो चाहिँ जेम्स थर्बर भन्ने मान्छे हुनुहुन्थ्यो, जो चाहिँ कार्टुनिस्ट हुनुहुन्थ्यो, यहाँ सेन्ट्रल ओहायोको रिजनमा हुनुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँ त्यो घरमा 1913 देखि 1917सम्म बस्नुभएको थियो। त्यसबाट उहाँ बित्नुभयो, त्यो घर रहिरहेको छ। 1917-13 मा बनाएको, 13 मा उहाँ बस्नुभयो घर। र त्यहाँ चाहिँ विभिन्न किसिमका कार्यक्रमहरू हुने गर्छन्, जहाँ चाहिँ नानीहरूसँग जाने, बस्ने, पढ्ने, त्यो हन्टेड पनि हुन्छ, कतिजना त्यहाँ मान्छे नभएर त्यहाँनिर भूतहरू त्यहाँ छन् भन्ने खालको किसिमको भनाइ पनि छ र कतिजना केटाकेटीले त्यो हेर्न पनि मन पराउने गर्छन्। साथसाथै त्यहाँ अरू पनि धेरै कार्यक्रमहरू, जस्तो कि नयाँ-नयाँ लेखकहरू आउने, त्यहाँ लेखकहरूले आफ्नो कुराहरू पढ्ने, किताब ल्याएर सुनाउने, यस्ता खालका कामहरू पनि त्यहाँ हुने गर्छन् भनेर उहाँले भन्नुहुँदैछ। We'll definitely come back about the special author event in a minute. So the next question that I'm going to ask is like, when Aditi went, Aditi has a very big personal connection with Thurber House. Like at times in our dinner table, we hear a lot about Thurber House, what activities are done in Thurber House on a given day or given week or given month at times. So can you tell me about what is your personal connection? That's how you are there for 20 years. It's quite a long time.
It is. So I took a I I'm not from Ohio, so I moved down from Michigan, and I started as a volunteer because I loved reading and writing. And my friend, my sister and her friend were already down here and already volunteering at Thurber House. So that was really interesting to me because I love books and reading. I like to write on my own. And so it was a perfect place to volunteer. And then I snuck my way in eventually when there was a job opening. And I started working with the education department and absolutely loved it. The students are so much fun. They're so creative, so imaginative, and we get to have like the coolest teachers, the most fun. And so now they're gonna have to kick me out. Like I love being there. I get to play around with students like Aditi and see them grow and write. And we have like one of my first classes, she has now published 2 books and she already has 2 more contracted. So, and I have kids who come back and they teach, or kids who come back with their kids and things like that. So it's really impactful because you get to see them grow not only in their writing, but like as a person. So I just love it too much to leave.
Thank you. मैले उहाँलाई भनेको थिएँ, उहाँलाई मैले सोधेको थिएँ, मैले हाम्रो विशेष गरेर यो थर्बर हाउसको बारेमा मैले चाहिँ फेसबुकमा हेरेर पहिले चाल पाएको थिएँ। आजभन्दा 3-4 वर्ष 5 वर्ष अगाडि। त्यस पछाडि हाम्रो छोरीलाई अदितिलाई भनेपछि उनले बहुत धेरै मन पराएर हामी त्यो कार्यक्रममा संलग्न भएका थियौँ। अनि अदितिले प्राय त्यो कार्यक्रमको बारेमा हामीसँग धेरै बार-बार कुराकानी गरिराख्ने भएको हुँदा मैले उहाँलाई सोधेँ, "तपाईको चाहिँ व्यक्तिगत सम्बन्ध कसरी भयो त?" भन्दा उहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ, "म ओहायोबाट होइन, म मिचिगनबाट आएको हो र मिचिगनबाट म यहाँ आइसकेपछि मलाई जहिले पढ्न लेख्न रुचाउने भएका कारणले गर्दा म त्यहाँ गएको थिएँ पहिलोपालि। र पहिलोपालि त्यहाँ म गइसके पछाडि म भोलिन्टियर गर्न सुरु गरेँ। भोलिन्टियर गर्दै सुरु गरेपछि धेरैवटा शिक्षकहरू, धेरै विद्यार्थीहरूसँग मलाई धेरै नजिक भएँ। नजिकिसकेपछि मलाई धेरै मन पर्दै गएपछि म त्यहीँनिर पछाडि जब ओपनिङ भएपछि म काम गर्न पनि त्यहीँ थालेँ। तर त्यसभन्दा अर्को विशेषता पनि के छ भने म सबभन्दा पहिलो मेरो कक्षामा पढ्ने विद्यार्थी मसिनो नानी जो थिइन्, ती नानीले अहिलेसम्म 2टा किताब पब्लिस गरिसकेको अवस्था पनि छ। 2टा किताब बजारमा आइसके, उहाँले किताब लेखेर पब्लिस पनि गरिसकिन् र अरू 2टा किताब कन्ट्र्याक्टमा छन्, पब्लिस हुन रेडी भइसकेको छन्। हो ती सफलता हेरेर मसिना नानीहरूसँग हर दिन काम गर्ने, उनीहरूको उनीहरूले गरेको राम्रा कामहरू संलग्न हुने कुरा देखेर मलाई यो कुरा बहुत धेरै मनपर्छ। त्यस कारणले म थर्बर हाउसमा अहिलेसम्म बसिरहेँ। म हर दिन मन पनि पराउँछु, किनभने हर हर समयसम्म मसिना नानीहरू त्यहाँ आउँछन्, रमाइलो गर्छन्, के गर्छन् भन्ने कुरा उहाँले गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। र त्यति भन्दै गर्दा म सबैजना हेर्ने साथीहरूलाई, आम जस्ट आस्किङ माई अडियन्स, तपाईँहरू हेर्ने साथीहरू जो हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईँले यसलाई सेयर गर्नुहुन्छ भने पक्का मैले विश्वास गरेको छु। प्लिज सेयर गरिदिनु होला। आजको टपिक भनेको अलिक छुट्टै छ, तर विशेष हाम्रा भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई कसरी लेखाइ र पढाइमा प्रेरणा गरौँ भन्ने एउटा उद्देश्यले मैले कार्यक्रम ल्याएको हुँ। र सबैजनाले हेरिदिनुहुन्छ होला र सेयर गरिदिनुहुन्छ होला र तपाईँको क्वेसन राखिदिनुहुन्छ होला, मेरो पूर्ण आशा छ। किनभने हामीले हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई यस्ता सानातिना कुराबाटै पढाइ लेखाइमा कनेक्सन गऱ्यो भने यो कार्यक्रममा एउटा दुईवटा तिनवटा नानीहरू पनि त्यहाँ गयो भने आई थिङ्क त्यो सफलता मलाई लाग्छ हाम्रो इन्टायर कम्युनिटीको सफलता हो भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ। थ्याङ्क यू मेगन. Now I have prepared a few questions for you, and the next question that I want to ask is like, which is again, these questions are based on my own personal experience through Aditi. I've been to the Thurber house many times, like dropping up and bringing the kids.
Mhm.
That's all I know because first Aditi was student there as a participant. Then I think she was a full-time volunteer, not full-time, partially full-time volunteers
Yeah.
in different capacities. And one of the most talked topic in our house at one time was a museum. Can you talk about what is the museum and what is the museum tour that you guys do in the Thurber House?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, James Server, who was a famous author and cartoonist, so they were able to save one of his houses. So you can come. We're open on the weekends from 1 to 4 for tours, and we also have tours throughout the year for special occasions and things like that. But it's an old house, so it has some of his things. So like books that were his. He won a very prestigious award, the Tony Award. Unfortunately, we don't have the Tony Award. Somebody stole that many years ago, but we have like the cloth that it was on. We have some of his artifacts. We have lots of photos, family photos. Um, his younger brother was still alive in the 80s when they were redoing the house. So he donated a bunch of photos, newspaper articles and stuff to the house. There's some original cartoons that he drew that are framed on the walls. So it's really interesting, and even if you don't know anything about James Thurber, it's kind of fun to step back in time, and you can see, there's like an old dress on one of the mannequins. We have one of his original typewriters, which is really cool, especially to show kids because I mean, now we have, like, computers in our pockets with our cell phones, and you look at this old typewriter, there's no backspace, you know? Um, so that's really cool, there's really pretty fireplaces, there's, like, wood, everything's, like the banisters are wood and stuff, so, it's really interesting to step back in time to see him as an author and a cartoonist, but even if that part isn't particularly of interest, it's neat just to kinda go back and see how they lived in, like, the 1913 like, the 19 teens, and to see, like, what life was like back then. Very different. Um, so that's always really fun. Like a lot of the kids get a kick out of that. But it has really cool Thurber artifacts, photos, items that were his, and things as well. It is a working museum, so things aren't like uh, roped off. You can take pictures. We have a piano that's there that we get tuned once a year. You can play the piano. You can sit on most of the furniture. There's a couple of pieces that are a little bit too old. So the family really wanted it to be, walk around, take pictures, like sit on the stairs, sit on the sofa, that kind of thing. So, it's pretty kid friendly as well. And
Thank
obviously adult friendly, but.
थ्याङ्क यू. मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ त्यहाँनिर थर्बर हाउसमा म्युजियम सङ्ग्रहालय पनि छ र त्यहाँ धेरैजना टुरिस्ट अथवा पर्यवेक्षकहरू आएर हेर्ने पनि गर्छन्, त्यसको बारेमा केही भनिदिनुहोस् न भनेको थिएँ। र उहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ त्यो थर्बर हाउस भनेको चाहिँ अघि मैले भनेको थिएँ 1913देखि 1917सम्म त्यहाँ जेम्स थर्बर भन्ने त्यहाँ मान्छे त्यहाँ बस्थे, ती चाहिँ कार्टुनिस्ट अथवा लेखक थिए र उनले त्यो बसेको घर त्यति बेला आजभन्दा 110-115 वर्ष अगाडिको घर। त्यहाँनिर धेरैजना टुरिस्टहरू बाहिरबाट पर्यवेक्षकहरू हेर्न आउने गर्छन्, त्यहाँनिर आउँछन्। त्यहाँ आएर चाहिँ उनले पढेका किताबहरू त्यहाँ छन् कतिवटा, उनले लेखेको, उनले अवार्ड पनि छ, उनले टोनी अवार्ड भनेर पाउनुभएको थियो। टोनी अवार्डको अवार्ड चाहिँ कसैले चोरेर त्यहाँबाट लगायो, तर टोनी अवार्ड पाइसकेका कुनै दस्तावेज कागजपत्रहरू त्यहाँ छन्, त्यहाँ मान्छेले हेर्नुहुन्छ। उहाँले लगाएका कपडाहरू भए, उहाँको फ्यामिलीका फोटोहरू भए, र उहाँको आफ्नो दाजु अथवा भाइ, उनको आफ्नै दाजुभाइ एकजना चाहिँ लाइक 80को दशकमा उहाँको हुनुहुन्छ, अझै पनि जीवित नै हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँले धेरैवटा फोटोहरू दिनुभयो र उहाँको ओरिजिनल उहाँले लगाएका कतिवटा कपडाहरू त्यहाँ त्यहाँ देखिन्छन्। साथसाथै त्यति बेलाको जमानाका पुराना किसिमका लुगाहरू कस्ता हुन्थे, त्यति बेलाको मान्छेको रहनसहन, खुवाइपियाइ कस्तो हुन्थ्यो, त्यति बेलाको घर कस्तो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने कुरा पनि त्यहाँ छ। अझै अचम्मको कुरा त त्यति बेला त्यो जमानामा टाइपराइटर हुन्थ्यो, आजभन्दा 100-150 वर्ष अगाडिको कुरा हो। त्यहाँ टाइपराइटर पनि त्यहाँ छ र त्यो टाइपराइटर पनि हेर्नुहुन्छ र नानीहरूले हेरेर बहुत रुचाउँछन् त्यहाँनिर। र त्यो यो अहिलेको हुँदै गरेको त्यो म्युजियम भनेको चाहिँ वर्किङ म्युजियम भनेको, त्यहाँ म्युजियम पनि हो, सङ्ग्रहालय पनि हो, र साथसाथै त्यहाँ काम पनि हुन्छ। त्यस कारण कतिवटा कुरालाई छेउछाउमा लाएर राखेको छ, र त्यस कारणले गर्दा त्यो एउटा म्युजियम पनि भयङ्करै मजाको छ, र विशेष गरेर मसिना नानीहरूलाई चाहिँ बहुत धेरै मनपर्ने किसिमको पनि छ, र मसिना नानीहरूलाई मात्रै नभएर ठुला मान्छेलाई मनपर्ने किसिमको छ। त्यहाँ आएर सबैले हेर्दा हुन्छ, इन्जोय गर्दा हुन्छ। सो जस्ट आई थट अफ अनदर क्वेसन, does it cost? Do people need to pay to come to visit the museum, or it is like anybody can come? How does that work? Can you tell that a little bit?
Yes, it is. I believe it's $5 on the weekends because there's guided tours. And then we do have special events throughout the year. So in the fall, we usually have an afternoon activity that's free for families, and we have free tours on that day. Um, Sorry. And then during like the holidays, we'll have like a day where we have free tours as well. So it kind of depends, but if you do come on the weekends, I'm just double checking. Yeah, $5 per person. And also if you want to do like a large group, you can schedule a tour with us. Like if you have, people coming from out of town, or if, we have sometimes like an after school group will come, or if you have like, I think it's 10. If you have 10 or more people, we can schedule like a small group rate where there's a small discount, and then you can schedule um, a tour guide. So if you had like a big family who wanted to come, or if a DD wanted to come with their friends, we have sometimes some of our students will bring a bunch of their friends and do one tour. So, there's like a discount for that as well. So
Okay.
the information's on the website, which is more helpful.
थ्याङ्क यू। मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ कि त्यहाँ जाँदा पैसा पनि लाग्छ कि फ्रीमा हो भन्दाखेरि, एकजना व्यक्तिको लागि $5 भनेर छ, तर कतिजना मान्छेहरू ग्रुप बनाएर आउँछन् त अलिकति डिस्काउन्ट पनि दिने गर्छ, किनभने गाइडले लगेर देखाउने कुनै कुराकानी गर्छन्, र कोही बेला विद्यार्थीहरूले आफ्नो मान्छे लिएर आउँछन्, तिनीहरूको लागि त्यस्तो पैसा गर्ने कुरा हुँदैन, डिस्काउन्ट हुन्छ। तर विशेष गरेर वेबसाइटमा गएर हेरियो भने चाहिँ विशेष थाहा हुन्छ। वेबसाइट भनेको thurberhouse.org, मैले यहाँ तर लेखिरहेको छु। नाउ लेट्स गो टु द आवर टपिक अफ द डे। So and after that, I'll come back to the success story. But why I'm interested in this one is like now summer is approaching, and you have a lot of summer programs.
Mhm.
In addition to Thurber House, we'll share some other opportunities available in Central Ohio as well. But what are the summer opportunities for kids in Central Ohio? Primarily focusing on Reynoldsburg for me, but anywhere in the Central Ohio, what are the summer opportunities, both for as a student and as both as internship opportunities? Can you talk about that one?
Yeah.
Let me tell this question in Nepali as well. मैले आजको सबैभन्दा विशेष क्वेसन उहाँलाई सोधेको छु, त्यो चाहिँ के हो भने यो बर्खा लागेको छ, बर्खे छुट्टी हुन आँटेको छ। बर्खे छुट्टी भएको बेलाखेरि सेन्ट्रल ओहायोको नानीहरूलाई कस्ता कस्ता खालका अवसरहरू त्यहाँ छन्, जसमा चाहिँ नानीहरू जो एउटा विद्यार्थीको रूपमा जानुहुन्छ, अर्को चाहिँ इन्टर्नसिप भनेको त्यहाँ गएर भोलिन्टियर गर्ने र शिक्षक जस्तो भएर सघाउनको लागि कस्ता कस्ता अपर्च्युनिटी छन्। अहिले ठुला नानीहरूका लागि शिक्षकको रूपमा भोलिन्टियर अपर्च्युनिटी छ भने मसिनो नानीहरूका लागि विद्यार्थीको रूपमा पढ्ने विद्यार्थीको अपर्च्युनिटी छन्। त्यस्ता खालका बारेमा भनिदिनुहोस् न भनेर उहाँ सोधेको छु, र तपाईँ सबैजनालाई तपाईँको क्वेसन राखिदिनु होला, हजुर जसले हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, र कृपया सेयर गरिदिनुहोस् है त। प्लिज गो हेड।
Okay. So at Thurber House, our busy season for our education programs is the summer. So next door to Thurber House is Thurber Center. It's just our classroom space, basically. And we have summer writing camps that are week long, Monday through Friday. And we offer 1 week camp for second through third grade. We offer 4 different weeks of camp for fourth through sixth grade, and then 3 different weeks of camp for seventh through ninth grade. And not to be confused. So if you look and you see that there's 4 weeks for fourth through sixth grade, you just pick which week works in your schedule. The activities are the same. So all the teachers and everything are the same. But for our week long classes, we jam them packed full of authors, storytellers, artists, teachers, writers of all different kinds of backgrounds, to do a bunch of different activities with our students all week long. So we might have a cartoonist come in who does an activity for them for an hour. A storyteller comes in a lot with our fourth through sixth grade, and she will do this really, she'll do a really fun activity to get the kids up and moving. Um, we might go and walk to the art museum and do some writing activities in the art museum. So we cram a lot of it into it. All the activities are 1 hour long, so there's multiple activities a day. Um, we focus on creative writing, so using your imagination, thinking like wild different stories, whilst they're learning writing skills. It's just kind of like being kind of weird with it. So we might like bring out a whole bunch of art supplies, and we're focusing on learning how to write setting, but we'll get out all of our art supplies and fabric and buttons and everything and have them like make a map, or create a whole world from scratch. Um, we have a storyteller who comes in who works with them on how to add suspense to their stories and things like that. So we really have fun with it. Um, we're not, I do tell the students this, we're not checking like spelling or grammar or anything like that. It's really for them to have fun and kind of like feel the freedom of writing their own story. So they can not, and sharing is always optional, so they don't have to share their writing. So if they're like shy or worried about it, that's totally fine. They can share if they want, they don't have to, but we really just want to like encourage and inspire them to like write outside of school and just see that it can be fun and that it can be weird and funny, or they can write a mystery, or they can write, a comic strip. So we really just kind of want to foster that creativity.
थ्याङ्क यू। मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ समर राइटिङ प्रोग्राम भनेको बर्खाको राइटिङ प्रोग्राम छ, यो चाहिँ के हो र कस्तो हो भनेर मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ। उहाँले बहुत लामो एन्सर दिनुभयो र विशेष गरेर म हेर्ने दर्शक साथीहरू तपाईँलाई म समराइज गरेर भन्छु, को तपाईँ हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। र पहिलो कुरा चाहिँ अब उहाँले भन्नुहुन्छ यो समर राइटिङ प्रोग्राम भनेको बहुत धेरै नानीहरूलाई लेख्न र पढ्नका लागि प्रोत्साहन गर्ने कार्यक्रम हो। र यो कार्यक्रममा बर्खाको 1 हप्ताको इट्स ए 1 विक प्रोग्राम फर द यङ्गर किड्स, राइट?
Yes.
सो हप्ताको प्रोग्राम हुन्छ। त्यो हप्ताको प्रोग्राममा 5 दिन 5 खाले कार्यक्रमहरू हुन्छन्। कोही दिन स्टोरी टेलिङ आएको हुन्छ भने, कोही बेला फन एक्टिभिटिज गर्ने, कोही बेला म्युजियममा गएर त्यहाँ लेख्ने र यस्ता जो विषय छन् ती विषयका विशेष व्यक्तिहरू आएका हुन्छन् र के गर्दा हुन्छ ती नानीहरूलाई लेख्न र पढ्नमा प्रोत्साहन गर्ने एउटा बाटो हो यो। र यहाँनिर गएर नानीहरूलाई स्कुलमा पढिरहेका हुन्छन्, स्कुलमा लेखिरहेका हुन्छन्। कतिखेप चाहिँ नानीहरू लेख्न पढ्नु भने चाहिँ अल्छी लागेको हुन्छ। तर यहाँ समर राइटिङ प्रोग्राममा गइसके ती नानीहरू अल्छी लाग्ने नानीहरूलाई पनि कसो गर्दा लेख्न पनि एउटा फन अथवा मजा आउँदो रहेछ भन्ने खालको प्रेरणा दिनका लागि यो कार्यक्रम गरिएको हुन्छ। र यो कार्यक्रम गरिसके पछाडि के हो भने यी नानीहरूले लेख्ने पढ्ने गइसकेपछि उनीहरूको स्पेलिङ चेक गर्ने, त्यो राम्रो भयो नराम्रो भयो भन्नुभन्दा त्यो नगरेर लेख्न पनि एउटा मजा आउने काम रहेछ भन्ने खालको प्रेरणा बनाउनको लागि हामीले त्यो विभिन्न किसिमको एक्टिभिटी गर्छौँ भन्नुहुन्छ। र यीदेखि बाहेक अतिरिक्त पनि अरू कुरा हेर्नुहुन्छ, जस्तै एउटा कार्टुन बनाउने मान्छे आउँछन् र कार्टुनिस्ट कसरी कार्टुन बनाउनुपर्छ, कार्टुन बनाउँदा के कुरामा ख्याल गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा ती पहिलेका विषयका विशेषज्ञले आएर नानीहरूलाई सिकाउने गर्छन् र बहुत नानीहरूले इन्जोय गर्ने गर्छन् र समर एक्टिभिटिज प्रोग्राममा गएर धेरै मजा पनि गर्छन् भन्नुहुँदैछ। सो नाउ within this program, can you share some of your success stories? Like you gave one success story of your first students, your student for your first class writing 2 books and already 2 in a contract. So pretty much she is writing 4 books at the moment. She has written 4 books in contract, right?
Like,
Can
yeah.
you give us some of your success story for people to see opportunities there?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously that one is like she wanted to be published, and like she pursued it and obviously has huge success, and she came back and talked to our campers a couple years ago. But even just like on like a regular level, I have students who have been with us since fourth grade who are now our teachers. So Aditi's had Frankie as our young writer studio teacher. Well, Frankie I've had since fourth grade. So Frankie came up, she was a camper, she was an intern, then she was a counselor, and now she's a teacher. And a lot of our counselors are past campers. Some of our teachers are past campers. Um, they it they don't necessarily have to, like, go out and get published as an author to have our programming be effective. I actually just had lunch with one of my kiddos yesterday. She's now 28. But she was with us again since, like, 5th grade, and she's working on, like, policy, you know?
Wow.
But she still writes for fun, and she actually, like, majored in, like, policy, and I think minored in, like, history and museums or something. I can't remember. But she's working for a nonprofit coming up with, like, research. She's literally doing research. But she still writes, and she still has fond memories of their house and wanted to come back and hang out and things like that. We have a lot of students who, tell us that they found their people at their house, which always means a lot to me. They found people who, like to read, like to write, might be considered different at school, or, things like that. They, like, find their people, they feel really accepted and, like, get to have fun and be themselves. So to me, those are really big success stories. So it might not, like, be quantitative to, like, a published book, um, but they are still having success in life because of what they learned at Thurber House, the friends that they've made at Thurber House, and that's really important as well. So the writing aspect and the critical thinking, a lot of the problem solving and critical thinking that we do at Thurber House, obviously, I think translates very easily in school and outside of school, outside of graduation and things like that. But also just having the connections with other people, like other students. And they come from all over. I know you're talking about Reynoldsburg, but they come from all over Central Ohio. And we even had people drive in from Dayton, from Cincinnati. And we had a student who came for years who drove in from Athens. So it's really, uh, um, I feel like those are all like little success stories, along with Ellen, who has 4 published books.
थ्याङ्क यू। मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ, तपाईँ यो यो कार्यक्रम चलाउनुहुन्छ, यो कार्यक्रम त्यत्रो 20 वर्ष भयो त्यहाँ काम गरेको भन्नुहुन्छ। कुनै सफलता भएको तपाईँको कुनै कहानी छ, त्यस्तो केही छ भने मलाई भनिदिनुहोस् न भनेर मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ। उहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ त्यस्ता सफलता भएका स्टोरी धेरै होलान्। अब एउटा कसैले किताब लेखेर छापेको 4टा किताब छापिसकेको छ, छाप्न आँटिसकेको छ भन्ने उहाँले भन्नुभयो भने, अरू त्यस्ता बहुत धेरै सफलता त्यहाँ भएका हुन्छन्। जस्तो कि एउटै पढौँ, लेखौँ, धेरै अगाडि बढ्नुपर्छ भन्ने विचारधारा भएका नानीहरू त्यहाँ भेला हुन्छन्। त्यहाँ भेला भएपछि नानीहरूको आफ्नो चिन्जान हुन्छ। अनि आफ्नो चिन्जान भइसकेपछि उनीहरूले कसरी चाहिँ भविष्यमा अरू कामहरू गर्ने भन्ने कुराहरू उहाँले ख्याल गर्नुहुन्छ। त्यस्ता नानीहरू त्यहाँ भेट्नुहुन्छ र मैले चाहिँ धेरै मान्छेहरू भेटाएको छु। जस्तो कि स्कुलमा उनीहरूको सम्बन्ध अरू केही कारणले धेरै धेरै त्यति राम्रो नभइरहेको, घरतिर पनि कति राम्रो नभइरहेको, अथवा कोही धेरै मानसिक रूपमा धेरै पढ्न जान्ने, कोही नजान्ने छ भने त्यहाँ गएपछि आफ्नो इन्ट्रेस्ट एउटै भएका कारणले गर्दा ती नानीहरू मिलेर काम गरेको देखेर त्यसमा धेरै सफलता भएको पनि मैले देखेको छु। त्यो मलाई बहुत महत्त्वपूर्ण लाग्छ। भने अर्को कुरा एकजना कसैको उदाहरण दिनुभयो उहाँले, अहिले नन प्रफिटमा काम गर्नुहुन्छ, नन प्रफिटको पोलिसी भनेको पोलिसी लेख्नुहुन्छ भनेपछि त्यो क्षेत्रमा गएर 28 वर्षको पहिले 4-5 वर्ष 4-5 क्लासदेखि त्यो कार्यक्रममा आउनुभएको, तर अहिले 28 वर्षको उमेर हुँदाखेरि उहाँले भर्खरै गएर भेटेर उहाँसँग लन्च गर्नुभएको। तर त्यो उहाँसँग कुरा गर्दा आज पनि उहाँ थर्बर हाउसको कुरा गरिरहेको र थर्बर हाउसमा सिकेका कतिवटा कुराले उहाँको जीवनमा धेरै प्रेरणा दिइरहेको, काम गर्न सहायता पुगिरहेको भन्ने कुरा उहाँले बताउनु हुँदैछ। र यस्ता धेरैवटा उदाहरणहरू मसँग छन्। तीमध्येका एउटा दुईवटा उदाहरण दिएँ। कसैले किताब लेखेर छाप्नु मात्रै चाहिँ सफलता होइन, अरू पनि हुन्। त्यही किताब लेखेर छाप्ने सफलता पनि हामीसँग धेरैवटा छन् भन्ने कुराकानी गर्नुभयो। सो with this, let me see there are a couple of comments today. The Vishnu Nutel is my uncle is telling Namaskar, both of you. This is very informative and young people and everyone in general. Keep up the good work. You are doing amazing. So he's telling that one. Thank you, Vishnu Mamaji. And there were Narayan Neopane. If you want kids to bridge the gap in mathematics and science, please contact Namaste Online. So they have Namaste Online and the tutorial class that they are conducting. So thank you, Narayanji, for doing this. They are providing a good service in the community right now. So can you talk about more about the internship opportunities? Then we'll go a little bit more in the depths. Like, for example, Aditi was, I think, intern 1 year, and she was in the class before. If anybody wants to do a summer internship, do they have opportunities? How do they have to apply? It's too late now. Can you talk about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we created our summer camp internships because we had so many students who still wanted to be active with our summer camp, but had aged out. So they were now in high school, but too young to be our camp counselors. And I didn't want them to go either. So we created a summer camp internship. And it's an opportunity for students who are who are going into 10th grade in the fall, through, as old as they want. And um, it's kind of, if you've been to summer camps, it's kind of like a junior camp counselor. So our interns help the camp counselors that we have. So counselors have a group of 10, and then the intern helps the counselor, um, answer questions, helps us set up activities, clean up activities, prepare snack, take photos. I do not take great photos. So I have an Aditi. That is where Aditi came in. We make Aditi take all the photos. Um, so a lot of times we hand photo duty off to interns because they are much better than I am. But they really get to interact with the students. They play games with them at recess. They can answer questions, and then, but they also get to do the activities. So when the students are taking class, say they're doing like the poetry activity. Well, the interns are still in the classroom with them, and they get journals, and they can sit right alongside the students and do the activities with them, or they can bring their own notebook from home if they want to like sketch or do the activities and write in their own journal. They get to do that as well. We have multiple interns a week, so they get to meet other high school students who also like to write and, be along with the students. It's a really great opportunity if they're looking, one, if they're interested in writing, but two, if they're interested in working with kids, if they're thinking about going into education, or if they want to be a writer, or they're just kind of like interested in kind of like the camp atmosphere. It's only 1 week. It's either 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., or if you're doing the second and third grade week, that's just 12:30 to 4. So it's just 1 week out of the summer. It's not the whole summer. Um, it does count towards service hours. And some schools look for it for National Honor Society and stuff. So it does count for service hours. And then after they intern with us, for a summer, um, they they never get to leave. I'm kidding. We have other opportunities throughout the year, so they can come volunteer with us at the arts festival. When we have those family days I was talking about, they come and help us do crafts with the kids. And then we just do a lot of fun things. We have an end of the summer party. We have a fall party. We have a holiday party. The other day, I really just made a game day, and craft day, and invited all the interns to come after school because I hadn't seen them in 3 months, so I just made an activity. So, we just like having them around and having them be involved. So it's a great opportunity for the summer, and then there's a couple other fun activities throughout the year. Um, but yeah, I highly recommend it. I love having the high school students with us. If you have somebody who's interested, my email is going across the bottom of the screen. Just have them email me, and then we set up an interview and then go from there.
राइट धन्यवाद थ्याङ्क यू सो मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ अहिले बर्खा लागेको छ बर्खामा धेरै हाई स्कुलको हाम्रा विद्यार्थीहरूको छुट्टी पनि सबैको छुट्टी हुन्छ धेरैजना नानीहरूले खोजिराख्नु भएको हुन्छ समरमा अपर्च्युनिटी के छ कहाँ इन्टर्नसिप गर्न कहाँ जाने भनेर मलाई बार बार सोधिरहनु भएको हुन्छ त्यस कारणले पनि यो कार्यक्रम मैले यहाँनिर आज बोलाएको थिएँ उहाँलाई र त्यस्तो कोही नानीहरू हुनुहुन्छ समरमा इन्टर्नसिप गर्न खोज्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने यो भयङ्कर राम्रो अपर्च्युनिटी हो किनभने यहाँ पढाइ लेखाइको कुराकानी हुन्छ तपाईँ कोही हाई स्कुलमा पढ्दै गरेको नानीहरू 10देखि माथिको 10 10th क्लासमा जानेदेखि माथिको नानीहरू कसैलाई खोज्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने thurberhouse.org अथवा makeBrown@thurberhouse.org भन्ने जो इमेल तल छ इमेलमा लेख्नुहोला तपाईँ कसैले त्यहाँ जान चाहनुहुन्छ भने त्यहाँ गर्नुहोला तपाईँ त्यहाँ गएपछि हप्ता महिनाको समरभरिमा 1 हप्ता गरिनुहुन्छ धेरै हप्ता गर्नुहुन्छ भने हुन्छ किनभने त्यहाँनिर धेरैवटा कामहरू हुन्छन् जस्तो कि त्यहाँभित्र सघाउने नानीहरूलाई बस्न सघाउने खालको कामहरू भयो किताबहरू ठिक पारिदिने काम भयो अथवा त्यो गुरुबा गुरुआमाले पढाएको बेला गुरुबा गुरुआमासँग बसेर उनीहरूसँग सँगै पढ्ने काम पनि भयो साथसाथै फोटो खिच्ने कुराहरू हुन्छ चाहिँ अदितिले चाहिँ त्यहाँ इन्टर्नसिप फोटो खिच्ने इन्टर्नसिप पनि गरेको थियो हाम्रो घरबाट अदितिले अरू कोही नानीहरू चाहिँ फोटो खिच्न रुचाउनुहुन्छ भने उहाँहरूले क्यामेरा दिनुहुन्छ तपाईँले त्यहाँ गएर फोटो खिच्ने काम पनि गर्नुहुन्छ किनभने त्यो फोटो खिच्नको लागि उहाँहरू कोही हुनुहुन्न नानीहरूलाई बस स्पेसली इन्टर्नसिप हाई स्कुलको मिडल स्कुलको हाई स्कुलको नानीहरूलाई चाहिँ फोटो खिच्ने काम उहाँहरूलाई दिएको हुन्छ र यस्ता अरू पनि धेरै कुरा हुन्छन्, कतिवटा पोएम कविहरू आउनुभएको हुन्छ, कविहरूले त्यो नानीहरूलाई पोएम लेखाउन सिकाउँदै गर्दा त्यो उनीहरूसँग बसेर गर्ने पनि हुन्छन्। यस्ता अनेक थरीका कार्यक्रमहरू हुन्छन्। त्यो कार्यक्रममा हाम्रो नानीहरू त्यहाँ गयो भने मेरो आश चाहिँ के हो भने हामीले हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई नाच्ने गाउनेमा गर्दैछौँ हामी, ठिक छ। हेरौँ न आजको कार्यक्रममा, अरू बेला कार्यक्रममा हामी 100-150जना मान्छे हुन्छौँ, आज यो अलिक बौद्धिक कार्यक्रममा हामी 19-20जना मात्रै छौँ। भरे मैले कार्यक्रम सकिसकेपछि सेयर गर्ने पनि एउटा दुईवटा सेयर मात्रै हुन्छ होला आज। अब अरू कुनै नाच्ने गाउने थियो भने हामी धेरै हुन्थ्यौँ। त्यसको लागि मेरो भन्नु केही छैन, किनभने बौद्धिक कार्यक्रममा मैले हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई पनि त्यहाँ कसरी एकजना न एकजना नानीहरू त्यहाँ पुऱ्याउन पायो भने आगो हुन्थ्यो, 2जना 5जना 10जना हुन्छ, यो यस्ता क्षेत्रमा जान्छ नभन्ने मैले आश ल्याएको, तर आज हामी हेर्न यसमा कम्ती छौँ। त्यो पनि ठुलो कुरा त भएन, तर हामीले पनि त्यहाँ नानीहरू लानुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा हो। Thank you. So next question is there any opportunities for adults? Like, for example, if I wanted to be there, if somebody who is retired want to be a writer again in the later part in their career, I mean, after their active life in the job market, can you share about that?
Yes, and honestly, you have perfect timing because we just launched everything today.
Oh, okay.
So we have opportunities all year long, but we just launched our summer opportunities. So we have two different ways you can go about it. So in the summer, we have author readings that take place outside. So we just launched those. So we have I'm actually going to pull it up so I say everything correctly. So our picnics this year, we have we have Scott Woods, who is a local poet, and he is going to share his work. We have Sharon Short, who is going to share her historical mystery. We have, and actually in May 28th, we have one of our Thurber Prize for American Humor Award winners, John Kenny, is going to be here May 28th. That one will actually be inside because it's May, so the weather might be questionable. But so we have a whole lineup, and Scott Woods, like I said, we have Linda Castillo, but the one that's going to be like, I think really cool or really different, I was going to say, it depends. But James Thurber and his family are buried at Greenlawn Cemetery. And there is a sculpture of his dog there because they love dogs. But we're actually going to do a family picnic there and read some of James Thurber's stories. There's going to be like food, I think a food truck there, and it's like a family friendly event. It's on a Saturday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That will be really different. So we're going to have different guest speakers share some of their stories, and that's going to be at Greenlawn Cemetery. So that's really different. So we're trying to do a bunch of different things. So we have poets and mystery writers, humor writers, sharing James's stories at the cemetery. So there's a little bit of something for everybody on the author side. Um, so I don't know if you want me to break there. I feel bad because I talk so much.
That's okay. That's fine because there are many of our audience will be understanding both the languages, so should
Okay,
not
I
be a
feel
big problem. So
okay.
let me tell anyway. There are, अब यो मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ कसरी भने धेरै किसिमका लेखकहरू कविहरू उहाँ आउनुहुन्छ र आफ्नो लेख, आफ्नो पुस्तक, आफ्नो कविता, आफ्नो जुन काव्यको त्यहाँनिर रचना गर्नुभएको हुन्छ ल्याएर सेयर गर्ने उहाँहरूको कार्यक्रम छ। विशेष गरेर थर्बर हाउसको कार्यक्रम भएको छ। जेम्स थर्बर जो हुनुहुन्छ उहाँको कब्रस्थान चाहिँ एक ठाउँ उहाँ छ, त्यहाँ गएर कार्यक्रम गर्ने पनि उहाँहरूको चलन हुन्छ, जहाँ कि उनले लेखेका किताबहरूका बारेमा छलफल हुन्छ। विभिन्न बौद्धिक यो कार्यक्रममा भनेको धेरै बौद्धिक कुराहरू त्यहाँ हुन्छन्। कस्तो मैले उहाँले भनेको कुरा अलिक थपेर पनि भन्छु। जस्तो महिनामा एकचोटि दुईचोटि ठुला लेखकहरू त्यहाँ आउनुहुन्छ, आफ्नो पुस्तक लिएर आउनुहुन्छ। अनि पुस्तकको बारेमा छलफल हुन्छ। उहाँ आउनुहुन्छ, पुस्तक यसरी लेखेँ, यसरी भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ, बहुत धेरै बृहत छलफल हुन्छ। अनि त्यहाँ जाने मान्छेहरूले किताबमा के छ कसो सुन्ने, कुराकानी गर्ने, त्यस्तै खालका मान्छेसँग भेट हुन्छ। फेरि त्यहाँ गए जुनसुकै आउँदैन, जुन चाहिँ पढ्न लेख्न रुचाउने इन्टलेक्चुअल दिमाग को बारेमा छलफल गर्ने मान्छेहरू, त्यस्ता मान्छेसँग कुराकानी हुने भएकोले हुँदाखेरि मेरो धेरै ठेलठाल पनि के हो भने यस्तो कार्यक्रममा हाम्रो नानीहरू एउटा दुइटालाई लाउन सक्यो भने पनि त्यो पाटापट्टि हाम्रो नानीहरू गयो भने भोलि हाम्रो नानीहरू पनि लेखक हुन्छन् भन्ने अभिलाषा पनि हो। Okay, can you continue then now?
Yeah. So then for like you who was talking about coming back and writing, we have adult writing workshops that take place all year round. We just launched our summer ones, so they'll be on various days during the summer. We still have a couple left of spring if you still want to jump in. And then we also just launched for the first time. It's called Adult Writers Studio Intensive. So we're going to have that offered in fiction writing, and that's going to be in July, and then memoir writing in August. So if either of those styles of writing interest you, we're going to take it a step farther, and there's going to be a little bit more in depth, a few more classes, and it will be focused just on fiction in July and then just on memoir writing in August. In the adult writing workshops, those are just kind of one-offs where you can try a bunch of different topics. Um, I'll pull those up really fast. So there's like one like Write Like Chapel Roan, who I know Aditi would love. We had a whole conversation about Chapel Roan last summer. We have one Write Like Taylor Swift. We have one
Wow.
um writing creativity as a form of self-care. There's two parts to that one. Making and breaking the rules of writing. So there's just, there's a bunch of fun different one-off ones if you don't want to commit to like a series. So there's a lot of different stuff this summer. If you want to jump back into writing, if you want to just come to a picnic and listen to an author or a poet share their work with you, there's lots of opportunities. And then we have the family picnic, if you want to do something like that as well. So we really have stuff basically second grade all the way up through 100, and, however old you are. There's
105, right?
yeah.
त्यहाँ मैले उहाँले
So
भन्नुहुँदै थियो, मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ, वयस्क मान्छेलाई छ कि छैन? सबैका लागि छ। तपाईँ चाहनुहुन्छ जोही मान्छे मेरो उमेरको अथवा मभन्दा माथि उमेरको भने पनि उहाँहरूका लागि विशेष कार्यक्रम पनि छ। यो जुलाईदेखि अगस्तदेखि पनि छ, जुलाईदेखि पनि सुरु हुँदैछ, मेमा पनि सुरु हुँदैछ र यो अहिलेको टाइम हो, राइट टाइम हो तपाईँले सुरु गर्नको लागि। कोही चाहनुहुन्छ भने त्यसका लागि पनि त्यो ठाउँ त्यहाँ छ र आएर गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। यस्ता विभिन्न किसिमका कार्यक्रम र प्रोग्रामहरू छन्। तपाईँलाई कन्टिन्यू गर्न मन लाग्छ कि अथवा एक छोटो हेरेर फेरि अगाडि गर्न मन लाग्छ, त्यो आफ्नो देही गुनाको फर्सी मिठो, आफूलाई तपाईँलाई कस्तो मन लाग्छ त्यही कुरा गर्दा हुन्छ भन्नुभएको छ। Thank you. These are my questions. So next thing is, now the summer is there and Thurber House has a program. If anybody wants to know more about Thurber House program, so I think this is the website, right? www.thurberhouse.org. People can go and explore and
mhm.
learn more about it and whatever they wanted to see. And also he have a email address here. People can do email and ask some questions. You don't have phone number where people can call and answer this question, right? So that is what we discuss about it. सो तपाईँ कसैलाई केही कुरा जान्न मन लागेको छ थर्बर हाउसको बारेमा भने यहाँ मैले लेखेँ thurberhouse.org भनेर छ, त्यहाँ गएर हेर्नुहोला। र तपाईँलाई केही क्वेसन छ भने macbrown@thurberhouse.org मा तपाईँले इमेल गर्नुहोला। उहाँहरूसँग फोन नम्बर त्यहाँ डायल गरेर फोन गरेर गफ गर्ने उहाँहरूको फोन नम्बर छैन। र विशेष गरेर मसिना भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई यो कार्यक्रममा लगाउनु होला भने मेरो अनुरोध हो। कसैले उहाँहरूले मलाई भनेको त होइन, तर यो कार्यक्रम बहुत लाभदायक लाग्यो। हामी नाच्न लगाउँछौँ, गीत गाउन लाउँछौँ, ताइक्वान्डोमा लाउँछौँ, कराटेमा लाउँछौँ, सबै राम्रा हुन्, त्यसमा नराम्रो भन्नु केही छैन। तर यो कार्यक्रम चाहिँ विशेष हो, कारण किनभने यसले चाहिँ हाम्रो बौद्धिकता जुन चाहिँ इन्टलेक्चुअल छ, इन्टलेक्चुअलका लागि त्यस खालको एक्सर्साइज हुन्छ भनेर मैले धेरै तपाईँहरूसँग हाम्रो हेर्ने दर्शक साथीहरूलाई अनुरोध गरेँ। मैले प्लिज सेयर पनि गर्नु होला, युट्युबमा गएर हेर्दै गर्नु होला भन्दैछु। सो क्यान यु टक अबाउट other resources outside Thurber House in Central Ohio for this summer? One is public library. What are the resources that are available in public library? Any other thing that you know of in addition to Thurber House?
Yeah. So we have a great relationship with all of the branch libraries. So I always recommend whatever community you're in to check out the public library in your area, because summertime is the time that they bring in a lot of programming. So like we do programming at various libraries. I know that they have storytellers come in and do things. They even have like, animals come in, or like people from the zoo, or, they really bring in a whole bunch of different types of activities. And a lot of the librarians will have different evening things and stuff like that for the kids as well. So I always I always plug the libraries because they have their finger on the pulse of the community and know what like is interesting to the kids and the families and the adults. There's a lot of adult programming too. We do a lot of adult programming in libraries too. So the writer in you can still get out there too. Um, so they are a great resource. And also they have A lot of them have bulletin boards. I know that we send our stuff to the libraries. So if there isn't something that interests you there, they do most of them have like areas where maybe other camps might post their information, or other resources might post their information there as well. We have a thriving arts community. So at Thurber House, again, we have a great partnership with the art museum. So it is walking distance from Thurber House. So we literally like walk through one parking lot on this really cool red sidewalk, and we walk like right to the art museum, and we'll do writing activities in the art museum. But as a family, that's an incredible resource. It's free for everybody on Sundays, and parking is free because it's on street parking, which is also free on Sundays. It's right off of a Coda line. I can't remember the line right now, but, that and it's free on Sundays all year round. So if you are stuck in the house on a rainy day, or like the weather's bad and like you need to get out of the house, it is free on Sundays. They have a
So
lot of
Sunday, that Columbus Art, Columbus
Columbus
Museum,
yeah, Columbus Museum of Art.
that
Yeah,
is free on Sunday. I
free
didn't
on
know that.
Sundays.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
मैले उहाँलाई सोधेको थिएँ अरू के छन् त सेन्ट्रल ओहायोमा चाहिँ यस्ता रिसोर्सेसहरू भनेर सोद्धा उहाँले भन्नुहुन्छ कोलम्बस पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी अथवा जुनै पनि लाइब्रेरीमा तपाईँ आउनुहुन्छ भने यहाँ बहुतै धेरै सुविधाहरू हुन्छन् बर्खामा किन नानीहरूको छुट्टी हुन्छ भनेर त्यहाँ लाइब्रेरीमा कस्ता कस्ता खालका कार्यक्रमहरू चाहिँ हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई सहायता पुग्छ भनेर उहाँले राखेको हुन्छ तिनीहरूमा तपाईँहरूले जानुहोला त्यहाँ गएर ती अपर्च्युनिटी हेर्नुहोला र आफ्नो नानीलाई त्यहाँ लगेर ती सुविधाहरूलाई प्रयोग गर्नुहोला भनेर उहाँले भन्नुहुन्छ त्यहाँनेरि नानीहरूलाई पढ्नेदेखि लिएर अतिरिक्त विभिन्न एक्टिभिटिजहरू पनि त्यहाँ लाइब्रेरीमा समरका ल्याएको हुन्छ ती कार्यक्रम सबैतिर लागू गर्न पनि सकिन्छ साथसाथै कोलम्बस म्युजियम अफ आर्ट भनेर चाहिँ डाउनटाउन कोलम्बसमा डाउनटाउनको छेउमा छ त्यो चाहिँ प्रत्येक आइतबार सधैँ फ्री हो तपाईँको घरमा गाडी छैन भने कोटा बस पनि त्यहाँ छेउमै पुग्छ साथसाथै गाडी लिएर जानुभयो भने पार्किङ पनि फ्री हो सन्डे आइतबार चाहिँ र जुनै पनि आइतबारमा गएर म्युजियम आर्टमा तपाईँले हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ कोहीलाई पानी परिरहेको छ अल्छी लाग्दो भयो भने नानीहरू लिएर खर्र जानुभयो भने कोलम्बस म्युजियम अफ आर्टमा गएर बहुत धेरै कुरा हेरेर सिक्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ we forget to mention one thing how much it cost because I was thinking to ask but again I forget
Oh,
for a student to join a summer camp.
yes. So we do have scholarships. We have scholarships for almost all of our programs. And if for some reason we don't have a scholarship listed for a program, always reach out. We never want people to feel that they can't come to a program for financial reasons. So for the week of second and third grade, which is a half day camp, that's 225, and that includes everything. So all of our prices include snack, any supplies, journal, pencil, papers, art supplies, craft supplies. If we go to the art museum, it covers that. Also a camp t-shirt. I have my camp t-shirt on today. We get camp t-shirts. So that covers everything. So it's 225 for the second and third graders because it's a half day camp. For the fourth, fifth, and sixth grade and the seventh, eighth, and ninth grade camps, it is 380. And again, that includes everything. So supplies, registration fees, snack, camp t-shirt. The only thing for the full day camp that students need to bring is their own lunch. We don't supply lunch. But yeah, and camp goes 9 to 4 for the fourth through sixth and the seventh through ninth grade camps, Monday through Friday. And then again, that second and third grade camp goes 12:30 to 4.
So it's a 1 week camp, right?
Yes, 1 week camp. Yep.
Okay. मैले उहाँलाई सोधेँ कति खर्च लाग्छ त भनेर सोधिरहेको थिएँ कति हो दाम भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ थर्ड हाउस जानको लागि काम भन्दा चाहिँ यो जो तपाईँ आर्थिक कठिनाइमा जुझिराख्नु भएको छ र तिर्न सक्नुहुन्न भने हामी पैसा तिर्न नसकेको भनेर कसैलाई पनि फर्काउँदैनौँ सबैका लागि स्कलरसिप छात्रवृत्तिको व्यवस्था त्यहाँ छ तर लाग्ने खर्च भनेको मसिना नानीहरूको सो जुनियर क्याम्प इज फर वाट ग्रेड 2 to 5.
Oh yeah, the half day camp is second and third grade. They're going
सेकेन्ड ओके
into second and third
ओके
grade.
सेकेन्ड र थर्ड ग्रेडका नानीहरूको लागि चाहिँ भनेको $225 हो $225 एक हप्ताको लागि तर उहाँको चाहिँ आधा दिनको मात्रै हुन्छ तर अघि ख्याल गर्नु होला कसैलाई पनि आर्थिक कमजोरी पैसा तिर्न सकिँदैन भनेर कसैलाई पनि फर्काइदिने सबैका लागि रहिरहन्छ भन्यो भने अर्को 4देखि 9 कक्षासम्मको लागि भनेको 7देखि 9 कक्षासम्मको लागि भनेको चाहिँ सरी 4देखि 9 कक्षासम्मको लागि भनेको चाहिँ $380 हो त्यो भनेको बिहान 9 बजेदेखि 4 बजीसम्म हुन्छ र 1 हप्ताको क्याम्प हो। तर ख्याल गर्नु होला कोही मान्छे पनि म पैसा तिर्न सकिनँ, म जान्न भन्ने चाहिँ सबैका लागि स्कलरसिपको व्यवस्था छ। तपाईँले thurberhouse.org मा जानु होला, त्यहाँ गएर एप्लाई गर्नु होला। Alright, these are my questions. So, if anybody wants to apply, people need to write email here or go to Thurber House and
Mhm.
apply for the program. Is that right?
Yep. Also, we have our teen programs too. So we have Young Writer Studio that Aditi goes to. So we do have high school programs besides just our internships. We have Young Writer Studio that meets every other Tuesday all throughout the year, and that's for 2 hours. And that's actually hybrid, so they can come in person or you can join online using Zoom, and that will always be that way because the students like it that way. So we offer that every other Tuesday. Again, also has scholarships. And then we are going to launch our summer writing camp intensive for 10th through 12th graders. That will be announced in about 2 or 3 weeks. So you have the first like in that we're going to be launching that this summer for the first time ever. And that's going to be really small. So we're going to cap that at 15 students. And that's going to be a 2 week long camp, and that will be in July. You'll definitely get that information as soon as it goes live. We're excited to launch that. So we do also still have stuff for teens that isn't just our internships too.
So all those information will be available in the thurberhouse.org. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. उहाँले अर्को अरू पनि विभिन्न प्रोग्रामहरू छन् जुन चाहिँ टिनेज भनेको 13 देखि 17, 18, 19 वर्षसम्मको नानीहरूका लागि विशेष यङ केटाकेटीहरूले लेख्नका लागि भनेर एउटा कार्यक्रम राख्नु भएको छ। त्यो जुममा पनि अनलाइन पनि हुन्छ, वहाँ गएर गर्ने पनि हुन्छ र त्यसको पनि केही रकम छ। तर कोही पैसा तिर्न सकिँदैन, आर्थिक कठिनाइमा जुझिरहनु भएको छ नि उहाँहरूका लागि छात्रवृत्तिको व्यवस्था, स्कलरसिपको व्यवस्था छ। त्यसका लागि चिन्ता नमान्नु होला। त्यो नानीहरूका लागि त्यो पनि एउटा ठाउँ त्यहाँ छँदैछ, गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। र अरू पनि त्यस्ता विभिन्न किसिमका कार्यक्रमहरू छन्। ती कार्यक्रमहरू तपाईँ सबै पाउने भनेको thurberhouse.org मा गएर गर्नुभयो भने तपाईँले त भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ। र यति भन्दै तपाईँको केही क्वेसन छ भने क्वेसन राखिदिनु होला। भने कार्यक्रममा उत्तरार्धतिर पुगिसक्यौँ र उहाँलाई म अन्तिम क्वेसन सोधेर हामी यो कार्यक्रमलाई यहाँ अन्त्य गर्छौँ। सो ओभरअल you mentioned there are opportunities for a camp, opportunities for people, those who want to go regularly, like every Tuesday for the young writers. And what are any other program that you forget to mention here that you want to add anything else here? Because we are going to end the program in a few minutes.
Okay. I mean, basically, we get to be everywhere. So if you have a small group, we've done stuff with a couple of families, and we bring a writing activity. We can go into schools if you have an after school program or anything like that. And, we're out in community centers, libraries, things like that. So on site, a lot of our stuff is during the summer because everybody has the summer off. But during the school year, if you're ever interested in thinking about having a program, always feel free to reach out to us. We love taking creative writing everywhere. So if you have any questions or anything like that, or have any ideas, absolutely contact us. We're also always looking for teachers. So if there's anybody out there who wants to come and teach with us, we would love that. We're always looking for people who like working with kids. And we take all backgrounds. Like we've had scientists come and do activities with us.
Wow.
Writing fits everything. So if you're ever interested in coming and teaching, we're always looking for teachers for kids, but also looking for teachers for adults too. So if you have an interest in teaching, also reach out to us as well.
उहाँलाई मैले सोधेको थिएँ कोही तपाईँले पढाउन चाहनुहुन्छ भने विभिन्न प्रोग्राम त हामीले भनिहाल्यौँ। त्यही मध्येको तपाईँ कोही पढाउन चाहनुहुन्छ, खोजिरहनु भएको छ भने तपाईँ जानु होला। उहाँले टिचरहरू खोजिराख्नु भएको छ, कोहीलाई वैज्ञानिकहरूले ल्याएर पढाइराख्नु भएको छ, जो पनि त शिक्षक हुन सक्छन्। त्यस कारण त्यस्तो कोही तपाईँको चाहना छ, इन्ट्रेस्ट छ भने जानु होला भन्नुभयो। र त्यति भन्दा हेर्ने सम्पूर्ण दर्शक साथीहरूलाई म एउटा कुरा भन्छु, प्लिज सेयर गरिदिनु होला। र यो बर्खा लाग्न आँटेको छ, बर्खाको के कार्यक्रम छ भने मलाई कतिजना सोध्नुहुन्छ। सर्वप्रथम मूल मन्त्र हाम्रो भनेको लाइब्रेरी, पब्लिक लाइब्रेरीमा हामी सबैजना जाउँ, त्यहाँको प्रयोग गरौँ। हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई तपाईँले कतिमा कराटेमा लानुहुन्छ, ताइक्वान्डोको प्रोग्राम छ, डान्स क्लास, विभिन्न किसिमका छन्, ती ठिक छँदैछन्। तिनीहरूका साथसाथै हामीले यी बौद्धिकतापट्टि लम्काउन पनि सुरु गर्नु पर्यो। हामीले के गर्दा नानीहरूलाई पढाउन र लेखाउन सकिन्छ त्यसपट्टि जोड गर्नु पर्यो। किनभने हामीले त्यो गरियो भने हाम्रो समाजको, स्पेसली भुटानी नेपाली समाजमा यो चाहनापट्टि हामीले एउटा दुईवटा नानीलाई पनि लगायौँ भने धेरै यसले सहायता गर्छ भन्ने मेरो बुझाइ हो। तपाईँ सेन्ट्रल ओहायोमा बस्नुहुन्न, टाढा बस्नुहुन्छ भने पनि देयर आर सो मेनी अनलाइन प्रोग्राम्स तपाईँले प्रयोग गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। इफ यु आर लिस्टिङ आउटसाइड ओहायो, आई थिङ्क यु क्यान युज द्याट अनलाइन प्लेटफर्म It's from anywhere, whether you're in Pennsylvania or California, doesn't matter, because the online Zoom class could be taken by anybody else, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
uh, with that said, I think we are done with the thing. If you make, do you want to add anything else towards the end? Because we are going to end now.
No, I just thank you for having me. Just reach out if you have questions, but thank you so much. This was really great.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and namaste.